Hey guys, what is up? Wes Gardner from Nitrobeard.com here, bringing you my top 5 games of 2012. Now, on the surface, 2012 didn't seem like anything special. Sure, you had some big follow-ups like Assassin's Creed 3, things like that, but, you know, there was nothing really, earth-shattering that released this year. But that's kind of the beauty of what this year had to offer. In my opinion, I love years like this more than the heavy, super big blockbuster years, simply because progress is being made. We're getting ready for the new consoles, we're getting prepared for a new era of gaming. So this year symbolizes kind of a fine-tuning of ideas, and they bring some of the best experiences I've ever had with video games. But without further ado, let's cut to it. This is the top 5 of 2012.
The beginning of the kill is like embracing a lover. The end, of course, is not.
Number 5. Mark of the Ninja. Where do I begin with Mark of the Ninja? I'm a huge fan of stealth games. I loved Tenchu back in the day on the PS1 and PS2. I really love the Splinter Cell series. My favorite one in that is Chaos Theory. And what Mark of the Ninja seems to do is, on a two-dimensional plane with pretty slick animation, kind of captures the feeling that I have with both of those experiences. There's nothing quite as fulfilling to me in a game as sneaking up on an opponent, kind of having a perfect exit strategy, knowing exactly what I'm going to do, exactly when I'm going to do it, and have it be pulled off miraculously. Now, the real fun of a stealth game is whenever you get caught. And Mark of the Ninja handles that extremely well too. The controls are so nice, they're very responsive. So anytime you feel like your life is in danger, there's always a way to get out. You can always make your escape. And that's always where the fun is because you can plan and you can plan and you can plan, and then you go for the kill and you miss. And that's where the beauty in the stealth games lie. And I'll tell you what, Mark of the Ninja nails it for me. Number 4. Guild Wars 2. Now, it's sort of awkward to have an MMO on some of these lists. As you all know from Nitrobeard.com, I love my MMO games. And I am here to tell you that Guild Wars 2 is an MMO you should absolutely try. There's no monthly fee. You just buy the box. Your characters are never deleted. There's no strings attached. It does have an in-game shop, but that's more for cosmetic stuff. But I'll tell you what Guild Wars 2 does do better than any other MMO on the planet, in my opinion, and that is combat. The entirety of Guild Wars 2 is based upon not only player versus environment, where you go on raids and dungeons and sort of questing and dynamic events and things like that, but it's really the focus of the community is on player versus player. Think of an arena combat game in medieval fantasy, but you're not normally stuck with your healing, your tank, and your DPS. Everyone can do a little bit of everything, so it really is how skillful you are as a player and what rewards you're going to see out of it. As with any good MMO, there's a ton of stuff to do. Huge open world. It will take many weeks, and that's if you're flying through the content, to see everything. I know people that have played it all day, every day since the game has come out, and they're still maybe 70% done with the content. So, a ton for you to do. Like I said, the best part, no monthly fee, but it changes a few things that MMOs used to be about, like quest hubs, things like that. Those are out the window. Throw those away. You know, you have dynamic events, you run into a field, and there's many things for you to do, all of them rewarding. So you can play exactly the way you want to play and still be rewarded for it. And I'm not going to say every MMO should be like Guild Wars 2, because it's definitely a cut from the rest, right? There's certain days I don't feel like playing Guild Wars 2, I'll go back to WoW or something like that, but, you know, different strokes for different folks. What we do have here, though, is something that every MMO creator should look at. Study it. What worked with Guild Wars 2, what didn't, and improve upon the things, the foundation set by the guys over at ArenaNet with Guild Wars 2. It's highly recommended. The game just came out recently, so it's only going to get better with time. So jump in, get on the ground floor, get running. It's truly a blast, and I'll see you in game. Number 3. Sleeping Dogs.
Okay, we talk later.
Sleeping Dogs for me is kind of the perfect sandbox game. You know, I'm a huge lover of the Yakuza series. I love old Bruce Lee movies. I really like the style of Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, kind of the open-ended game worlds, things like that. But something Sleeping Dogs does better than any of the rest, in my opinion, is it tells a very solid point A to point B narrative. It does so with an amazing combat system that plays a lot like Batman, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham City. You can actually go to dojos, learn different techniques, learn how to break dudes' legs. You have amazing DLC. I'm not usually a fan of DLC, but some of this DLC is amazing. You can actually get, let's see, like Bruce Lee's old outfit from Enter the Dragon and, you know, Game of Death. Just awesome stuff. And even has a thing where you can be Adam Jensen. Just really cool stuff for the additions. But the core of the game is definitely in its storytelling. And it does kind of tell your basic Infernal Affairs, The Departed, you know, old Bangkok dangerous type of martial arts story. But since you're in the middle of it, it feels a little bit more immersive. I can actually, as odd as it is, I can relate more with characters in Sleeping Dogs than I could in Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row. And that's truly a testament to the writing and to the characterization. Because sure, Sleeping Dogs might not be as big as a Grand Theft Auto, or might not be as big as Saints Row the Third, but in my opinion, it definitely has more heart. And once again, people doing open world games, you have to look at Sleeping Dogs, see what it did right, and improve upon it. And hey, sky's the limit. Number 2, XCOM, Enemy Unknown. I am an old school PC guy. I'll just get that on the plate right here. I loved XCOM back in the day, even though I was terrible at it, and a lot of games like it, like Jagged Alliance, Fallout Tactics, even though that's not really one of the better ones. But anyway, XCOM finally made a revival, and it's really not a revival that anyone necessarily asked for, but the quality of it is astounding, and it convinced a lot of people that weren't fans of the turn-based genre before to give it another look. Everything in that game is deceptively addictive. You have the battle system, which rewards you with items you can use in research, where you can research in almost like a Farmville-esque way, in a micromanaging, really addictive way. You get more items that you can use during battle. Now, a lot of people may be turned off with the fact that once a character dies, they're dead, they're remembered on a wall of memories, and they may feel, well, now I can't get attached with these characters because I can die at the drop of a hat, which is true, but in my opinion, it adds to the tension. It makes every single conflict something you have to pay attention to. And the research is always rewarding. It has little in-jokes for old school fans. But even if you're brand new to this type of game, this is a perfect place to start. And oddly enough, if I were to compare this to any game that wasn't XCOM or Jagged Alliance or Commandos or even that old Robin Hood game, if there was a game I could compare this to, it's Final Fantasy Tactics. You have the same grid-based combat, you have the same stat juggling, you can actually unlock different things, and there's just so much to talk about in this game. You really have to play it to really dig in deep, but it's definitely worth your time. And like I said, even if you're not a fan of the genre, definitely check it out. Number 1, The Walking Dead. There's something oddly beautiful about a properly told story in a video game language. There's a certain expectation that video games give as far as narrative is concerned. The stories don't really matter so much, they just kind of give you a context to where an action takes place. And as much as I love Warren Spector in Deus Ex, he even says that video games are not about story, they're about doing. They're about a verb. What verb are you doing? Are you shooting? Are you painting? Are you crawling? Are you commanding? What are you doing in this game? But The Walking Dead throws that completely out of the window, and for the better. Who knew that an episodic game based on a graphic novel would win Game of the Year. Everyone really didn't have any hopes for the Walking Dead game. Not to say that Telltale doesn't make great games, but you know, you can only have so much Sam and Max, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park. You know, these kind of, sure, they're very quality, but they're sort of campy. They're a little niche for, you know, for a very specific audience. But The Walking Dead does something very profound, and it throws all those misconceptions away. It tells a very, very mature story, and it tells it very directly. You are making decisions that affect everyone involved, and that's a heavy burden. You're not usually used to doing that in a video game. But not only do you do it in The Walking Dead, you do it multiple times an episode over the course of 5 episodes. And I'll say it right here, it's my #1 pick by far and away, and I'm still not done with it. I'm in the middle of episode 4 right now. But from everything I've heard about episode 5, it all pays out, it all pans out. All the decisions you make have an impact, everything you do actually means something. And in a way that's exhilarating, but in another way, it's kind of depressing, knowing the stuff that's already happened so far. But man, I'm a huge proponent for narrative in gaming, and The Walking Dead has pushed that forward. It's The Walking Dead story, in my opinion, and its execution is so good, it has made up for the rest of this generation not picking up the slack. It might be some heavy words for some, and okay, what can a $25 5-episode game that takes maybe 10 hours to beat, what can that really do? But if you have that mentality, that's even more reason why you have to play it. I urge you, please, please, please play it. Just get your hands on it, Howard, no matter which system you have, no matter if you have a PC, I know there's a box console version coming out, just please experience this and just know what can happen when a group of incredible writers come together with a remarkable premise, with a great tie-in for an amazing universe. Magic can happen. And I hope and I pray that we get more games like this, because forever I will be addicted to these games. This is truly remarkable stuff. I know that's a lot of hyperbole in this, but I can't really think of any other way to try to get you guys to play this. Hopefully you already have, and hopefully you're agreeing with what I'm saying. But man, there's nothing like The Walking Dead, and that's a beautiful thing. It is truly the surprise of the year, and there's no doubt in my mind that it's one of my favorite games this generation. So that is 2012. That's the top 5 for 2012. That's it in a nutshell. I mean, like I said, this year wasn't bombastic. It wasn't overly glitzy and glamorous, even though it tried to be with a few of the releases. So a lot of people felt that 2012 didn't quite live up to some weird expectation, but in my opinion, it surpassed every expectation I could have had, simply because each game that made my list was an honest-to-God surprise. I was blown away with the quality of these games, and I hope that if you haven't played one of these, something I may have said may have sparked your interest for it, and you definitely go check them out, because, hell, this is one of the more rewarding years in gaming I can remember in recent memory. I mean, hell, look at last year. Freaking Dragon Age 2 came out, and it was more disappointing than Duke Nukem Forever. But this year, there were surprises of its own, right? Who knew that the episodic game about a graphic novel would win Game of the Year? That's crazy. But anyway, that's it from me. Keep it locked on Nitrobeard.com for 2013. We're going to keep bringing you some awesome stuff. Hope you like the top 5 list. Definitely check out the other guys' top lists for the year of 2012. But yeah, we're going to be bringing it with our A game in 2013. So definitely stick around. We'll see you next time at Nitrobeard.com.